Welcome back to the verdict. It's our election studios, and it's a big day today. Well, we should be going now to our correspondent, Olu Phillips. He's in Lagos. We're keeping tabs on different parts of Lagos, different parts of the country, to find out what is going on. So, can we then go over now to Olu Phillips to give us Olu, what's happening because there are different situations in different parts of Lagos. What's happening where you are?
Okay, so this is Agor Palace Way in Okota, the very hot spot some 2 weeks back, where we had some hoodlums, thugs, snatching ballot boxes, setting them on fire. This is one of the polling units that was a hot bird last 2 weeks when we had the presidential election. And incidentally, because of what happened where people had to scamper for their life and for safety, we've witnessed a lot of voter apathy today. People are just coming in trickles, and you know, it's a case of one person comes, votes, does his accreditation, votes, and goes to tell others that it is safe to come out. So we see them coming out in some kind of trickle, Chamberlain.
Well, what about the presence of security officials? What do you notice?
Say that again, please.
What do you notice in terms of the security agencies? How are they coordinating themselves?
Incidentally, when Channels TV brought this to the limelight 2 weeks ago, it became a heavy story for other people to feast on. The security agencies, INEC, and everybody became concerned about this area because a lot of polling units around this area got the same kind of treatment. We've seen pockets of security operatives coming around same polling station to see if there will be a repeat of such incident, but we've not seen that. We've seen a lot of, if you look around, there are a lot of security men all around this place. And if I would like to talk to someone who wants to share his comment about what happened and why we seem to have had this situation sometime last week. Sir, can I talk? Please, can you join us? Chamberlain, I'm going to ask him, sir, this is Okota. Why did it become very peculiar what we saw here last week or last 2 weeks?
Well, my name is Bishop Humphrey Rumaka. I'm a known personality in this place, and we all saw what happened last week. In fact, my wife was almost attacked because even they took her PVC from her since last week, and up to now it has not been found. What we're experiencing today, so many people are not out, not necessarily because they're afraid, but because the people of this area feel disconnected with the government. Because this is a place that have, you know, a lot of beautiful houses, and property rates, taxes here are very high. But when it comes to election, then some people now need to remind you you are from one ethnic group or the other. The only major road tarred in Okota environment is this road. Then all the street roads, unlike what you find in Mushi, what you find in Surulere and other places.
How huge is this population you're talking about?
Well, I may not be good in demography in terms of number, but Okota is highly populated. But the good thing too is that Okota is highly populated by Igbo people. So when it comes to developing this area, an election, then you remind them they are not part of Nigeria per se. And some of us are very disappointed how a whole nation is shrinking into village mentality. That's not progressive. The whole world is going international, going nuclear. A Lagosian can win election, stand for election in London, stand for election in America, stand for election anywhere. Obama, from Kenyan descent, became president of America. What hope are we giving to our children in this place of...
Let me ask you, have you voted?
Sure, I've voted. Even today, with the ARM party, I have voted. Because I think it's my civic responsibility, and I cannot be intimidated out of it. Nobody decides where he's born. You don't choose who is your brother. You don't choose the tribe you are born. I'm an Igbo man, and I'm proud of it. Nobody will stop me from exercising my rights.
Do you think Part of the apathy that we witnessed today is people thinking, when we spoke to some people who would rather not speak on television, say to us that they do not think that the votes count, perhaps that their votes 2 weeks ago didn't count.
Well, that's part of it. But Phillips, I just tell you that the whole people you see here feel totally disconnected with the government of Lagos State. We are not remembered during development. All the only time we are remembered is during votes. And they come to intimidate us. And I bet you, the sure way to have an Igbo man's vote is treat him like a human being. Do things right. And the Igbo population, they are very loyal to a party. Most of those people have been loyal to PDP, even without PDP doing anything for them.
All right, we hear you though, but we need to just bring it back here. Let's get some reaction before we go to break. Sooner rather than later, our correspondent Olu Phillips coming through to us from Lagos. But interestingly, Mr. Makwe, we didn't get to hear that the officials there were protesting of non-payment, because what we saw in some other areas where Sean came through to us was the UCO members there were saying they will not go on if they were not paid. But it does appear as though that's not the case where Olu Phillips is.
Yes, of course. There are places where they were not paid, and there were places that where they were already paid. So I think it depends on management, you know. Critical supervisory management where these monies were there already, so why not just pay the people so that they can go and do their job? So I think it is something they've taken care of already, so that's fine.
That's perhaps another or one of those gaps.
Yeah, these are gaps of management, governance issues with INEC, but I think it's a learning curve for INEC. A lot of things are being learned now, but it's taking INEC too long to learn a simple thing.
Because I was going to say we've been learning the same thing for the past 20 years.
Exactly.
Over and over again we keep talking about it.
Exactly.
So how do we begin the process? Because one of the things that you will find out from the conversation that has been going on with Olu and the respondents in that area, you know, is as well as all the voter apathy issues, especially from the INEC officials. How could that put the security at risk?
I think we're going about it in the wrong way. This is 2019. You know, India just finished their election. One day, everything was gone. Results were shown and everybody was happy. Why can't we go electronic? Some people tell you, oh, electronic, there are people who are illiterate or stuff like that.
Okay, Mr. Makwe, some of the other areas that raise some security concern, one of which you mentioned, is Rivers.
Yeah.
But we've got Rivers and then Akwa Ibom. But Rivers, the governor, he's going to cast his vote. Emmanuel Ere did tell us earlier on that there was voter apathy in Rivers as a result of what transpired earlier. But this is Akwa Ibom for a start now, where we had seen earlier Mikey Guinea, the wreck, making the rounds to ensure that things were going well. But here now, we see the governor of Akwa Ibom State in that cubicle casting his vote. And this, lots of people were kind of concerned when that INEC office in a basic local government area was taught. They thought what was going to happen today. But now you can see that from this indication, he's voted.
Let me first of all appreciate Bible people for coming out early this morning to cast their votes. In terms of preliminary report, I think it's still a bit early to assess the situation. I'll get into the situation room and know what is happening, but so far so good. At least the accreditation, the authentication have been smoother to me based on my own personal experience. But kudos to INEC for improving the card reading system, at least the authentication and verification processes went quite smoothly. Let's also still urge those who are still at home, those who are skeptical, that they should come out and vote. For now, at least in this area, everywhere is peaceful. And I'm going to pour around all the local government areas and the situation. So by noon, you guys check my review situation report all over the state.
Well, it's okay. We were hoping that it will continue to be like this. You know that in Nigeria, the trial process, sometimes the voting will go on very smoothly. It's at the collection center where we have been very watchful and very, very careful. But for now, we're quite satisfied. I'm sure we're going to win the election very well. Even though I've gotten reports of what the military is doing in some local government areas, but by and large, we know we're close to victory.
So they have governors of Akwa Ibom State and Rivers State casting their vote. And gentlemen, well, this is where we just need to call it at this point in time for this segment. Incidentally, that ballot paper almost stopped on not refusing to get into the ballot box in Rivers.
I think what INEC said is the way you fold it, the way you fold it and let it go inside so it goes in easily.
Well, Mr. Makre, and Mr. Makre is a former Deputy Director with the SSS. We also have had Mr. Lawrence Alobi, former Commissioner of Police in FCT. We must thank you, gentlemen. Thank you very much indeed for talking to us today on The Verdict. The Verdict returns in a moment. Stay with us.